The greatest showman in all of baseball and one of the most fearful hitters in the MLB has finally arrived back in Philadelphia. After several weeks of struggles and an underwhelming entire season, Bryce Harper looked like Bryce Harper for the most that he has all year. I do want to highlight while he created a first even for himself after all the MLB experience that he has under his belt, a first for Bryce Harper today and how much this means for this Phillies team. Going to dive into all of it in this video here, as well as hear from Bryce himself on him working himself out of his slump and where his mentality is sitting. So to dive right into the video today, do want to highlight that in the third game against the San Francisco Giants here, that Bryce Harper going 4 of 6 with 2 doubles, 1 home run, and 1 RBI. It is his first 4 extra base hit game in his MLB career. Pretty amazing and pretty wild that he has never done this. Now, we've obviously talked a lot about the Bryce Harper outlook, how this Phillies team as a whole is fully dependent on Bryce Harper being the face of the franchise, being this best player on the team, and everything on this lineup, everything in this roster just makes more sense when he is at his best. I had some real concerns about that wrist issue that he continued to battle, that he went on the injured list for, basically said he got to a stalemate to the point where it wasn't getting better, and ultimately he decided to play through it. That wasn't exactly a glowing review of his recovery process and something that was weighing heavy on my mind, but we finally saw him break out. And number one most notable thing to me, when he is driving the ball the opposite field, the way he was today, his home run and both of his doubles over there, or 2 of his doubles coming over there, that's really impressive stuff for Bryce. And I think that last one went out to center field there. The point being here, when he's utilizing all parts of the field, that's a dangerous hitter, and that's what we're seeing from Bryce Harper. So to dive into the full score of the game, do want to highlight here that it was a 13-0 victory. It is so funny. Baseball is a funny sport, that we are less than 24 hours removed from talking about losing on a walk-off inside the park home run, something that just about never happens, to this Phillies team absolutely laying the hammer, winning 13-0. And we do know that that is the first time in his career that he has had 4 extra base hits in a game. He did not have any extra base hits since coming back from his wrist soreness. Today he's a homer and 3 doubles. And to add to that a little more, that Bryce Harper has more extra base hits today than he's had in his last 46 days. And I do hope this is a sign of things to come. Shout out to Bill Colarulo of 97.5 there. Now, I did want to forget hearing about it from me. Let's hear it from Bryce himself. So I did want to pull up this post-game interview, which I do think there's something a little bit noteworthy to take from. So let's pull up this video and listen along.
Well, you said the other day that you felt really good before Game 1. Has that carried over as this series has gone on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously today was great for our whole lineup. Obviously a crappy situation ending yesterday. So for us to come out and put it on Verlander a little bit, one of the best to ever do it, Hall of Famer. I thought that was a great comeback win today, and it goes to show, what type of team we are.
Bryce, when you took batting practice on the first day, it looked like you were, I'm not sure what you were working on, but you were crushing the baseball all over the ballpark. Was there something specific that you were working on during that BP session? Because it seems to have translated now to this ball game.
I mean, I think, getting ahead in the count, obviously, not hitting from behind and, not swinging at pitches out of the zone. I mean, my swing feels fine. It's nothing physical or anything like that, or anything swing-wise. It's just getting ahead in the count and, hitting in good situations. And I haven't really put myself in great situations the last 9 or 10 games. So if I can keep doing that and hit balls that are over the plate and not miss them, I'll be right in the driver's seat, ready to go.
All right. So you alluded to last night. I mean, obviously it was a tough one. Is it nice to see how the team responds to something like that?
Yeah, it was great. Luzardo came out and threw the crap out of it, man. He tough outing last time, I think it was, and he came out and did his job, and obviously our lineup came in and put the runs on the board that we needed to, and that's a good win, getting away to San Diego, and hopefully in the break, get to the break on a good note.
We appreciate it, buddy.
Now, a couple things that jump out to me from that. And for starters, we can acknowledge a lot of it being the basic athlete speak and Bryce just saying the right things. But a couple takeaways to me, for starters, that sounded like a locked-in baseball player. That sounded like a guy who's over all this. This team's been up, this team's been down. I'm just ready to win some baseball games. And the biggest thing, the biggest storyline to me was the quote that he said here. And that is exactly, that my swing feels fine. It's nothing physical or anything like that. I hadn't really put myself in a great situation the last 9 or 10 games. I love hearing that it's nothing physical, and that is the biggest takeaway of today. He showed it with his play, and he said it with his words following the matchup here, that Bryce Harper is back to being Bryce Harper, and that changes everything for this Phillies team. It really does here. That if Bryce Harper is back to being that guy, we were talking about this Phillies team being legitimate World Series threats again. And to highlight another quote from Bryce Harper right in this same ilk here, that Bryce Harper didn't have the first half he wanted. Today he had a career high 4 extra base hits. Is a big second half on the horizon? Maybe. And Bryce says, quote, "I'm really good. I really am. I know when I'm going well, I'm one of the best in baseball." And boy, is he absolutely right about that. And that is the player that the Philadelphia Phillies need to show up in the second half of the year. Now, the numbers are not still where we would expect for Bryce at this stage of the season. The 32-year-old just 9 home runs, 34 RBIs, 40 walks across his 237 at-bats, just 59 hits there, and has struck out 57 times. But if everything turns around in the second half of the season, all is right in the world, and that is sort of what I think things are trending to do. While we can be upset that Bryce Harper did not get an All-Star break or did not get an All-Star nomination here, maybe getting a break is the best thing for him. And I talked plenty about how it just feels like this Phillies team needs a spark. There is no better guy to deliver that spark than Bryce Harper himself. That yes, a trade could do it, or yes, calling up a prospect could do it. But you know what else can do it is your best player looking like your best player once again. And that is what Bryce Harper is in a position to do and what I expect from him in the second half of the season. And I was starting to go through these mental gymnastics myself of the trade deadline is coming up here. We have limited days left with a lot of these players here. Zack Wheeler, there's 2 more years in his contract and he is walking away from baseball forever. Kyle Schwarber, there are 75 games left that he's officially under contract for, and then that man is a free agent. And while I would love for him to be back in red pinstripes, and I do believe there's mutual interest, there are no guarantees. And when you allow a guy to hit the open market, it is a dangerous game from a general manager perspective here. My point in saying this all is now you have these guys. Now is the time to maximize. And Dave Dombrowski, it is time to get busy as the trade deadline. But I was going through these mental gymnastics of myself of if Bryce Harper is not going to be Bryce Harper the rest of the year, do you make those same decisions? Do you go all in without the knowledge that your best player can be your best player? Well, if Bryce is back to being that guy, which today certainly showed that he still has that ability, and by the way, he was going against Justin Verlander. I know that Verlander is not the guy that he once was, that he's over 40 in the very late stage of his career, but the dude can still throw the ball. That his stuff did not even look that bad today. The Phillies just found ways to hit it, and this was once again to me about this roster waking up and saying, we're sick of getting embarrassed here, that we've dropped 2 games in pretty embarrassing fashion to this Giants team, which is a good team, but not a great team. Not a team that the Phillies should be rolling over for. But we don't have to worry about this. Do we need to overcome the struggles that Bryce Harper is having if this is here to stay? That is what I believe is the case. That I do believe whatever the physical ailment in the wrist, whatever the issue, and it is still concerning to me that there is not a specific diagnosis there, but this is way more about Bryce Harper getting game reps. Let's also give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that this was not a dude who went through a rehab process and played his way up the minors so he could get his timing back. He looked lost at the plate because he hadn't played baseball in several weeks to this point. Well, he saw things just fine today, and I do think that is built to continue here. So I'm breathing a huge sigh of relief that Bryce Harper finally showed up for this Philadelphia Phillies team. It has been a rough season. There's no way around acknowledging it here, and you can feel the hole in the lineup that he leaves when he's not operating like his best. But if this is here to stay, this is all you can ask for from a Phillies perspective, and I'm starting to believe that that is the case. So obviously a lot more baseball to get into here. We're closing in on the trade deadline, closing in on the All-Star break, and obviously the playoff push will be in full swing. This Phillies team still sitting in pretty good standing from their pathway to the postseason here, but things got to go right, and they got to pick up some momentum ahead of time. So still plenty to break down as far as what moves will be made. Dave Dombrowski got to work those phones, got to get active, but I'm back to believing if Bryce Harper is being Bryce Harper again. So let me know if you guys are on board as I am, that this dude is back, that we are over the struggles, and he's ready to lead this team to the promised land. Today is the first time that I've felt confident about that in several months to this point. So shout out to Bryce Harper for showing up once again, for proving the Hall of Fame elite caliber baseball player that he absolutely is, and do hope that this is only the start of a special second half of the season. We will see what happens from there, but I'll be tapping in every step of the way right here on Phillies Digest, so make sure you guys are along for the ride. If you have not already, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, dropping a like on this video here. I'll be back talking to you next time right here on Phillies Digest. Peace.